So without further ado, make sure you go over to the readings for this week and download this week's data. You'll get a folder called Week 4, and it contains 3 elements: data, Supreme Court data, it contains our 2 other PDFs and CSVs, and it contains this week's notebook. So go ahead and open JupyterLab and drag and drop in week number 4. It'll open our notebook. And you might notice that our notebook contains data from last week. And if you would like to hide it, you can click on this little drop-down arrow, and it'll hide week 2's information. But before you do that, you should really make sure that you go through these cells again, just like you did last week. So first we're going to load up our PDFs, and because they run pretty quickly, I'm going to click through more quickly. Click, 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 and so on. And every single one of these cells will suddenly have a little asterisk beside them. Click until you get to this cell, and it will slowly run every single one. So rather than wait for every cell to finish and then click the next one, you can just go click, 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 click to get through a whole bunch of them all at the same time. So here we are embedding and storing our Supreme Court documents, just as we did last week. So we can wait for that to happen. Now that's finished, we can head to our cells from last week, week 3, and we can skip installing it, and then we can load the software, click. We can download the model again. Okay, we've now downloaded the model. We can load it just as we did last week. Continue scrolling down. Define the rest of our agent just as we did last week. Initialize it, and then skip to week number 4. So, welcome back. We'll now try making an interface for our agent. First, let's download Gradio. So we're going to install Gradio now. And we're done. We can now go down to this cell block, which I'll explain it in turn. First, it sets up a history for our chat. If you remember from last week, our module did not explicitly give our agent memory. So it wasn't able to do A task, B task, C task, and remember what it did from task to task to task. Rather, we were one-shotting it. So we gave it a goal, we gave it its tools, and then it would complete the goal using the tools and forget everything that it had done by the time it delivered its response to you. But this time we'll be giving our chatbot history because Gradio takes care of it. Next, we'll be defining a function. A function in Python is like a little bit of reusable code. We actually declared functions in the last module, but to recap, a function is simply a defined piece of code here that receives some kind of input. So here it's receiving a message and history. It produces a response from the language model. So using the input, it does something. And in this case, it's using the input to produce a response from the language model, and then it delivers the response back. Then we declare our Gradio interface. We're passing it our function. We're giving it a theme. Here we'll call it soft, and then we're giving it a title, my fancy chatbot, and then we launch it. So I'll press go, and then it gives it to me in Gradio, in JupyterLab desktop, but actually I can copy and paste this link and put it into my web browser. And I can type, hi, I'm doing well, thank you. So, great, I'd like to talk about dogs. Okay, so I can talk to it. And in other words, I produced a front end for my code. So this is the front end, and this is where the code is running. So this is the back end, in a sense. But if I want to share it with other people, I can add in some text here, and that's share equals true. I press go again. So, and if I want to share my code, I can type share equals true, press go, and it'll start hooking it up. And here it creates a public URL. So you can actually take this link, and you can send it to other people, and they'll be directed to somewhere on the internet that is hooked into your computer, so they can talk to an agent that you set up yourself. So, hi, how are you doing? I could be on any computer on anywhere in the world, type in this URL, type, and be able to talk to an agent that's running on your computer. That is how you can share your Gradio interface with others. It also, if you look here, it gives you some instructions for deploying it to Hugging Face spaces. But I think that's a little bit out of the scope for this class, so we'll just focus on being able to share the Gradio instance directly with someone else. But, so having redirected my agent from LLM to agent.run, as we talked to our agent in the last week, I can then click on this cell to run the cell again to reinstantiate that particular piece of code. And then all I need to do is re-click on the cell for my Gradio interface, and it will boot up my fancy chatbot. And then I can ask it the same question: who in Hamilton won an award for art? And it will now search for its knowledge, artist from Hamilton, Ontario. It will receive back some information. It will go through the information that is received and try to come up with a response. And we receive back a response: the Art Gallery of Hamilton Renewal, the James North Art Crawl, Art Center and Lofts, Empire Times. So it's gone through the CSV, it responded to our question, and we can share this link with other people to share it with them over the internet. And that is how you embed your documents, PDFs in a folder. You give it to a language model to make an agent, you make a front end for the agent, and then you share it with other people. I hope you try it out for yourself. Try giving it different types of information. Try designing the fancy chatbot interface as we see it here, and try sharing it with other people to see what they think. If you have any questions, as always, I'm available in the questions for the instructors part of the forum. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week. And keep in mind that this is, in fact, the final week of the course. So good luck with getting the certificates as you finish through the last bits of the course material. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you very much, everybody. And it's been a pleasure to have you. Of course, I'll be around for this week's office hour. I'll probably be making final goodbyes there and asynchronously across the forums. It's been such a pleasure to be able to talk to everybody. I hope that everyone who took the course got something out of it, got a sense of what it's like to work with language models, what it's like to create a machine learning pipeline, and hopefully have an idea for what kinds of policies they might want to bring to their own newsroom. Or if you're a freelance journalist, you might have a sense of what it's like to have an AI copilot work through your data together with you. This is really only the tip of the iceberg. There's so many more things that are possible to do with the tools that I have shown you. Jupyter Labs is an excellent tool. Gradio is a really great way to make really interesting front ends. You might, for example, also give it a Python interpreter so your chatbot can write code for you. And in general, when loading up documents in the data that I gave you, if you put in any kind of PDF into this folder, the chatbot will vacuum it up and embed it if you follow the same procedure that I showed you in this document. So with that, and really with that, finally, I've said that a few times now, goodbye. And thank you very much for taking my class, Generative AI for Journalists. Once again, I'm Sil Hamilton, and I wish you a wonderful December. Goodbye.